In my last video, I talked about 9 heroes I want to see added to Marvel Rivals, and y'all gave me so many more suggestions that I had to do a part 2. I'm not going to waste your time, so let's start off with Cable. I had one person in particular commenting Cable on almost all of my videos, so I feel like if I don't do Cable, this dude is going to show up at my apartment one day or something. He suggested Cable should be a vanguard with a beam rifle similar to Ultron and deployable shields to teammates. The shields eat the damage, but instead of going away when broken, it regenerates over time unless you move it to another ally. They also suggested he have an arm hook so he can propel himself up walls, and rocket boots for a slow fall effect or speed boost. They also recommended a temporal grenade that resets opponents' life totals to its lowest point, and his ult should be a giant ball of energy that deals more damage the closer the target is to the center of it. I like some of what's going on here, but I feel like this is a mesh of a DPS and a tank. If we're going tank, then we need to change the grenade and the ult a bit. I'm thinking the grenade should reset allies' life totals to the highest point from the last 10 seconds, and provide overshield to any allies that go to full health from more than a quarter health. So for example, a 250 HP target at 200 health would gain 50 health and 50 overshield, but a target at 150 health would just gain 100 health. And this is just so allies already at full health get some benefit. This should probably have a long-ish cooldown though, so he's not healing as much as a support. For the ult, I like the ball of energy idea, but it feels too much like Magneto's ult for some reason. I'm thinking to make it more unique from Magneto, you have it be a temporal manipulation field. Any enemies caught in the field are slowed down. Not just their movement speed, but all of their animations, cooldowns, camera speed, and everything is slowed until the ult ends. Otherwise, I like everything else, especially the deployable shields like Ultron drones. I don't know if this feels particularly broken or not, but I like it. Good job. Next up is Gwenpool. I got a suggestion for them to be a strategist, and I can see the vision they're going with here. They suggested she have a double jump and healing swords like Deadpool that she can throw at allies to reset cooldowns or throw at enemies to increase their cooldowns. They also suggested she be able to manipulate the game's code in order to steal cooldown time from enemies and apply it to allies. She would have a healing circle like Deadpool in your area, and her ult would steal an opponent's ult charge and either completely fill one ally's ult charge or evenly distribute it across your team except herself. They also recommended she be partially CC immune and a small damage resistance because she rewrote her code to give her these abilities. She doesn't need a reason. I honestly love what's going on here. The cooldown manipulation feels like it would be very annoying to play with and maybe difficult to balance, but it's unique in a way that I don't know if any other character would be able to do it. So if you're going to do it, here's the time to do it. The only reason it makes sense for Gwenpool is because she's like Deadpool with her knowing she's a video game character. I initially told this person I was going to tweak their idea, but now that I'm doing the video, the only note I have is that I don't like the healing circle. I think to stay on theme, she should have an ability where she jumps into a player's UI and pulls out a hammer to start fixing the health bar. Gwenpool becomes invulnerable during the ability since she's not on the field, and the player whose health bar she's repairing gains damage reduction or something. Otherwise, I like this. Good job. We're going to quickly move on to Strategist Quicksilver, and they said this idea came about because they didn't think it would be healthy for a dive DPS character to be moving at the speed he would need to be moving at to be viable, and I'm inclined to agree. They suggested that while he's moving, he leaves behind a healing aura like Adam's fart mode that gives overshield, and a teleport ability like White Fox that picks up the ally and moves them to safety. And he can also have a Black Panther-like dash to reposition. That's where the comment ends, so I'm thinking he should walk and run at a normal pace like other characters, with maybe a slight speed boost, because obviously, but then either his primary fire or his alt fire is a resource meter to represent his stamina, where he goes super fast, and this would be where the healing aura would come from. For the ult, y'all are gonna hate me for this, but I think he should have a healing circle. Because he can spin super fast in a large radius, creating a healing shield around all allies in the zone that they can shoot out of, but enemies can't shoot in. Any damage taken by the shield is reduced and converted back to Quicksilver, so it's possible to kill him during the ult. In conjunction with his ult, I think they should give him a team up with Wanda, where you can spin around her while she ults, creating a protective barrier, and it would work like Jeff and Storm's old team up where they have to ult at the same time. This commenter also suggested that you get an achievement for dying while saving Hawkeye, and I thought that was funny. Next up, this one is kind of cheating, but whatever, it's my video, get over it. I did a short recently talking about how I would change Black Panther to a tank, and a bunch of people suggested they should do that for Bishop. Essentially, the idea is he would have a passive ability that reduces all damage taken by 5 or 10%, and that damage gets converted into a meter like Strange's Darkness meter. You can then press the ability button to release that stored energy, knocking back all enemies in the area and dealing damage. But if you let the energy max out for too long or it's overloaded, it explodes inward instead. Bishop would take some damage, be stunned, and lose the damage reduction, so it's high risk, high reward. I don't know much else about Bishop, so maybe y'all can leave some more suggestions in the comments. Before we do number 5, real quick honorable mention to Silver Surfer, Beta Ray Bill, Big Wheel, Kitty Pride, and Darkhawk. I saw these suggestions, but they didn't give any abilities, so I don't know where to start with them. I'm not familiar with these characters enough to do them justice, so again, feel free to drop some thoughts in the comments. Our final hero today is the Sentry. They suggested that he be a perma-flying tank with a speed boost ability, I'm guessing similar to Iron Man or Ultron's boost, a dive attack where he slams the ground and deals AoE damage, a dash attack that deals damage to enemies hit and provides bonus health, and the ult allows him to transform into the Void, which would put a blinding and slow effect on enemies, and at the end of the ult he slams the ground for massive AoE damage. They also said his primary fire and ult fires would be basic punches, a light attack that does shockwave damage, and a heavy attack that knocks down flyers. I like some of what's going on here, but I think a perma-flying character having a melee strike is a bit odd. I like the shockwave damage, so even if you can't make contact, you can still hit, and I think maybe it should have a very minor knockback. Maybe it could work like Invisible Woman's melee combo, and the third strike has a push effect. The knockdown on flyers is good though. A perma-flying tank that can easily contest Iron Man or Ultron seems helpful to have. The ground slam feels a bit too much like Venom, but I don't know what else you could make it. Maybe instead of dealing big damage, he puts up a small barrier on impact, like a Groot wall or something that can be destroyed. Kind of as a way to show that he impacts the ground so hard, he breaks off of a chunk of it to create a wall. I also think his ult shouldn't work like a normal ult, because when the Void comes out, it's usually because Sentry got depressed and lost control. So I think instead of building ult charge, you instead build up a Void meter, and when it fills, you instantly pop ult. He wouldn't build ult charge passively, only when you're dealing or taking damage, so you don't pop it in spawn or right before a team fight. Otherwise, I really like what you got going on here. Good job. Thank you to everyone who left a suggestion in the comments. For my next video, I'm working on how I would personally redesign certain characters' kits to work better as different roles, so subscribe if you're interested in that. Leave a comment down below if you have any ideas for a future video, and share it with your friends so I can get famous and quit my day job already. Thank you so much for all of your support, and the Eye of Agamotto has already seen the future, and I've been assured I'll see you in the next video.